This case is known as one of Japan's 3 biggest unsolved UFO cases. Several children captured a small UFO flying device with their bare hands. In the following days, these children brutally tortured the UFO. Today, we will talk about one of Japan's 3 biggest unsolved UFO cases, the Kara incident. On August 15, 1972, a heinous act of abuse against a UFO occurred in the Kara area of Kochi City in eastern Kochi Prefecture, Japan. That afternoon, 3 second-year junior high school students went home after school as usual. While passing through a rice paddy, they suddenly found a faint white light hovering in the middle of the field. The evening light was quite dark, so the white light was very noticeable. The light remained motionless in the sky above the rice paddy. From a distance, it should have been about the size of an apple, and there were colored light circles around the white light. They observed it for a while. These children realized that this object was not stationary because the colored light circles around the object were rotating and alternating, and occasionally emitting an alarm sound. Out of fear of the unknown, the children quickly ran back home and told their parents what had happened. The parents didn't take it seriously but warned the children to stay away from strange things. The next day, when the children passed by the rice field again, the strange object was still hovering in the air. One brave child picked up a nearby rock and threw it at the object. The object seemed to sense that someone was attacking it and instantly disappeared into the rice field. The children were frightened by the fact that the object could disappear, so they immediately scattered again. After a few days, when they passed by the rice field again, they found the object had reappeared. This time, the children were no longer afraid because the object had not shown any retaliatory or aggressive behavior when attacked last time. So the children worked together to capture it. One student shook the object and heard a sound coming from inside. As they observed, the object emitted a piercing alarm. The children were scared and threw it down, then ran back home. In the following days, these children often saw it hovering over the rice fields. After observing for a few days, they found some patterns. First, the object only appeared on sunny days. Second, it appeared only over the rice fields, and they were not sure about the time it appeared. Sometimes it would be there when they went to school in the morning, and sometimes they could see it when they left school in the evening. Given the appearance pattern of this object, these children brought their own cameras and prepared to take a picture of this glowing object. However, at the moment they pressed the shutter, the unidentified object flew away as if it knew something was going to take a picture of it. Although the children tried hard for a long time, they only managed to take a blurry photo in which a glowing object could be vaguely seen in the upper right corner. Afterwards, the children could not suppress their curiosity anymore and prepared many tools to capture it. They believed that it did not come out on rainy days, indicating that it must be afraid of water. So one of them held a cloth, one held a brick, and one carried a bucket of water. They observed the flight trajectory of the object in the field and suddenly rushed forward, covering it with a cloth. Then they poured a bucket of water on it, and one of the kids hit the unidentified object with a brick. But they did not know what the consequences of doing this would be. After a beating and an operation, the 3 children quickly ran back home and did not dare to pick up the object. The next day, when they returned to the rice field again, they found that the object was still covered by the cloth and had not moved. So they wrapped it up in the cloth and brought it back home. Since being attacked by the children, the object has not moved anymore, and the children believe that the water had an effect on it. After observation and measurement, the children found that the unidentified object was 7 centimeters tall, 18.2 centimeters in diameter, and weighed 1.3 kilograms. The surface was smooth but not even, with many protrusions visible upon closer inspection. There was a circular pattern on the bottom, a small square hole in the middle, and other designs around it. The overall shape of the flying object was similar to a hat. Considering that this object could fly and emit light, 3 people decided to perform surgery on it by cutting it with a knife to see if it would bleed. The scene was cruel beyond belief. However, no matter how much they hacked and chopped, the object remained undamaged without even a scratch on its surface. Then one child noticed that there were many small holes on the bottom of the object. He suggested pouring water into it to see if it would open. After the water was absorbed by the unidentified object, the lid on the bottom suddenly popped open. The children were not sure if it would open, so they quickly grabbed the lid with their hands, trying to pry it open directly. But the strength of the 3 children was not enough to fully open the object. After some effort, the three children eventually gave up. They began to use a flashlight to peek into the opening and found that the inside was filled with electronic components. In the middle of the components was a particularly small luminous body. When they were ready to remove the luminous object with a tool, the object suddenly closed its lid again, as if it had regained consciousness. After this closing, the object never opened again by any means. One of the children was very curious and showed the object to a parent, asking for help to open the lid. However, the parent thought it was just a normal ashtray and ignored it. It is worth mentioning that the ashtrays in Japan at the same time were similar to the unidentified object the three children found, so it was normal for adults to ignore it. The three children saw that the adults were not paying attention to them, so they grabbed the object, wrapped it in cloth, and hid it in their backpack. Since the object could suddenly fly away, one child was left in charge of watching it while the other two ran to tell other children that they had caught a flying toy that glowed and changed shape. When the other children heard this, they followed them to see, but found that the object had disappeared when they opened the backpack. All the children thought the three children were lying, so in order to prove their words, they went to look for the object again. When they found it again, they put it in their backpack and wanted to keep it close. The other two children watched the backpack from behind, afraid that the object would run away again. When they took out the object to show their friends again, they decided to retell the whole story to arouse the interest of others. The three children vividly described the process of how the object took off, landed, glowed, and made sounds, but some people still thought they were lying. So the three children threw the backpack in front of the onlookers and let them take the object out themselves. As a result, they found the backpack was empty. The three children were also surprised because they had been carrying the backpack and two other children were in charge of security, so how could it suddenly disappear? Thirdly, we believe that the unidentified object has disappeared and escaped. However, the onlookers certainly did not believe this explanation. The children who were watching slowly dispersed after disdaining the situation. When the children left, they suddenly saw a dazzling light coming from the backpack. The three of them took a look and the object had come back. They took the backpack and ran back home to let one of the parents watch. However, when the parent opened the backpack, they found that there was nothing inside. When the parent left, the object appeared in the backpack again, and the three children were very confused. In the following days, the three children took turns carrying the mysterious object in their backpacks to school. They found that no matter where they put it, whether in their lockers or hidden in their backpacks, the object would disappear as soon as someone else saw it. However, it would reappear after the person walked away for a while. During this process, several classmates saw the object flickering and flashing, which confused the three children. To figure out this phenomenon, the children drew a mark on the object. The mark remained on the object throughout its disappearances and reappearances. After observing for a while, the three children believed that almost no one else could see the object. Especially adults, as soon as they were shown the object, it would run away. Occasionally, when shown to classmates, it would be seen. It was like the object had a sense of self-awareness and didn't want to be discovered by others. But the children were stubborn, so they came up with a new method, putting the object in a plastic bag and tying the bag to someone's arm. This way, they could ride their bikes and escort the object to the adults without it disappearing. However, while on the way, the child carrying the object accidentally fell off the bike. The three children's first reaction was that things had gone wrong and the object was up to its mischief again. They didn't want the adults to see it, and as expected, when they untied the strap from their arm, the object had already disappeared. Since then, this mysterious and strange object has never appeared again. This is the entire process of the jieliang incident. Once, a UFO cartoonist retold the JAL 1628 incident in illustrations, which immediately caught the attention of Japanese UFO enthusiasts. In fact, the JAL 1628 incident is full of loopholes, so why do people still believe it? This is because the three protagonists of the story were all underage children, and it would be difficult for three children to fabricate such a complex lie. However, if they did not lie, this incident does not seem to be true. Therefore, in 2007, the Japanese Investigative Committee decided to conduct a reinvestigation into the incident. They directly interviewed other witnesses to see if they could provide similar evidence. During the investigation, they found that a 9-year-old child and a 17-year-old teenager had also seen a bright yellow object in the sky at the same location where the JAL 1628 incident occurred. The object was rotating in the air and flashing strange lights. One of the children was very curious and chased after it. When he reached a grove, he saw the unidentified object, which crashed into a tree and fell silently to the ground. On the ground, he heard a faint sound, and the object looked like a silver hat. He bent down to touch it and found a thick, fine substance on his shoes, which also stuck to his hands. Suddenly, the object emitted a sound similar to an alarm. The child was scared and immediately ran back home. While running away, he occasionally looked back. When he looked back, he saw the hat glowing again, then rotating and rising rapidly, disappearing from his sight. Two sightings that occurred at different times also left investigators pondering. They're also skeptical about what this object, which can fly like a hat, emit light, and sound alarms, really is. However, I personally never doubted what it was. What danger does a flying object that can crash into a tree pose as a mystery to solve? There is currently no consensus on this event. Some people think it's a prank played by kids. If this is a high-level extraterrestrial aircraft, and the kids can capture it and even abuse and torture it, this shows that the object is not the product of intelligent life. If even ordinary children cannot avoid it, then this object is obviously not intelligent. Of course, some people believe that this aircraft may be a conscious life form, or that this object is a surveillance device designed to monitor human behavior. It may be a reconnaissance device manufactured by unknown technology from another world. And more powerful things may be hidden in the higher sky.